In this video, I'm going to walk you through the dashboard to administer the MCAS. Once you signed in, you will see this landing page. Please note the color of my screen is brown because I'm in the training site. I can tell I'm in the training site because everything is brown and not blue, but also the URL has TRNG in the front of it. This tells me I'm in the training site. The live test site will be blue and have MCAS in front of the URL. I only mention this because sometimes staff try to sign into the training site and are confused when the username and password doesn't work. Once I signed in, I'm presented with three main menu options. There's Setup, Testing, and Reports. For administering the MCAS, you're most likely only going to stay in the test section. To begin administering the MCAS exam, you will first need to find your test session. To find your assigned test session, you're going to click the drop-down menu underneath the word testing, and you're going to click on Sessions. Here, you will see a list of all the sessions that are running in the building. You want to make sure that you read the session names carefully and that you select the correct one. You also want to check that you're selecting the correct test. So right now, there's only grade 10 ELA in here. Once you find your test session, you're going to click the little checkbox next to the session name, and then you're going to go to the top left and click Go to Students in Sessions. This will bring you into your testing session. So on this screen, you can see that there are 2 test sessions for ULA, and there are a total of 5 students. Both sessions are locked, as you can see by the slider with the lock and unlock icons. Before students log in for testing, you should unlock session 1 by moving the slider over from locked to unlocked. Once you do this, students are ready to log in and take their test. And if you scroll down, you'll see that everyone is in ready and that there's no lock icon, so students are able to log in. So I'm going to switch over to a session that has students in it so that you can see what it looks like during the test. So in this session, you can see that we have 5 students with various statuses, and there's a status key here on the right side. The 5 students we have 1 student of the 5 that is active, meaning they're currently just taking their test and they're totally fine. We have 2 students that are exited, so we have to address that. And we have 2 students who have completed their test. So if we scroll down, we can see which students are in which status. The students who have completed their test, they're done for the day. So what you can do is you can click the little drop-down icon and you can click Lock. And this just locks the test. It means that they're done. It's essentially like they just turned in their book. Okay. For the students who are exited, there's a couple things that we might want to ask. 1, did the student have an issue? Did they accidentally exit? And so that's something that we would ask the student. To resume them if they need to get back into the test, because they'll have to, mark their test complete. You click the drop-down arrow and you click Resume. And this will allow the student to sign back in. For the rest of the test, until they turn in their test, this will stay orange, and that's okay. So I'm going to resume both of these students who are exited, because again, I will need them to submit their test. The student who's active, they're fine, they're just taking their test. To see where each student is in their test, to check up on them, to see how many questions they might have left, you can click on any of the students, and it'll give you their student test and item progress. So in this view, I can see how many questions they've answered, how many they've visited, and how many they've answered. So this student I just sort of created, and I went through each one, so they haven't actually looked at anything. But if I look at one of these completed ones, so this person answered all 27, I can see that they visited it and they answered it, and I can see at what time they were doing that. And then here I can see the same thing. So by the end of testing, you should have students mostly with statuses that say completed. That means they turned in their test. But if by the end of your scheduled testing time, students are not completed, they should exit so that they can move to a late room. So by the end of your scheduled testing time, you'll have 2 colors in your session, blue and red. And the red is again for students who need more time. And when they go to the late room, whoever's running that will resume them in their test. At the end of testing, when students are getting ready to leave the room to transition, you should lock your session for testing security. And to lock your session, you can either slide the lock over if that lock is available, or you can use the drop down and just say lock for all. And again, that's just for testing security, and you can see that there are now locks here, and that means students can't go in and continue taking the test without being supervised. So this is just your brief introduction into how to navigate the dashboard and how to administer an MCAS exam. Thank you.